guys, I understand that everybody wants Hellcats and Scat Packs, right? Trackhawks, T-Rexes, Durango Hellcats, I get all that. But everything has to be done in a sequence. You know what I'm saying? Everything takes time, especially when you're doing things the legal way. You have to have the money, you got to have the social security number, you got to have the credit score if you're going to finance. Everything has to be done by the book when buying cars. In this video, my man did none of that. He goes into a Dodge dealership with the stolen social security number, thinking that he's going to walk out with the 2023 Hellcat jailbreak, and instead gets a major surprise. You got to watch the whole video for this one, man. This is a funny one, but it's also sad. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout360 here with another video, man. So you can tell them in the house that makes it the house vlog. You know how it's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets. Anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. I'm not even gonna waste your time. All right, so clearly this is a Dodge dealership. Looks like one of the employees is filming. Cops, we see a Hellcat Charger, so we know we're in the Dodge dealership, and we see a young man being detained. Just listen to the commentary. Listen to what he's saying.
Stop. You're being detained, okay? We'll tell you why. I told you we'll tell you why. For what? Fraud.
He says, sir, I'm asking you why. I'm asking you why. I'll tell you in a minute is what the cop says. The reason that the cop says that is because, to my understanding, from what I've seen, when you give a dealership your identification, right, your ID, your driver's license, whatever, obviously it has your first and last name, your middle name, your address, date of birth, all that stuff. You give them your social security number. Obviously, those two things should match up. Your social should match your first, middle, and last name, as well as all known addresses or current addresses or what have you. Well, he did that, and it did not come back with the match. The social came back with the match to somebody completely different with I would imagine, a decent credit score because he's going to buy a Hellcat, but it came back to somebody completely different. Now, what most dealerships will do in that situation, that is Class A identity fraud, identity theft right there, ladies and gentlemen. Stealing someone else's social for the benefit or for the purpose of buying something, whether it's financing something. It could be something as small as a TV, furniture, or in this case, a $100,000 Hellcat Charger. That is identity fraud, identity theft, Class A, simple. You know what I mean? So what they're going to do, they're not going to come back to you and say, hey, listen, this social doesn't match up. What they're going to do is they're going to call the police, right off the rip, and say that there's somebody down here that's trying to buy or finance a car with a stolen social security number or a social security number that does not match up with the identification that the person gave us. Police are going to come, and 9 times out of 10, they're not even going to explain much of the situation. They're just going to try to take you out of the dealership and find out what's going on. And that's what it looks like here. And that, to me, is what I would imagine why the police officer is saying that you're being detained and we will explain what's going on after you were detained, because they're thinking that maybe he's dangerous, whatever the case may be. That's, that remains to be seen. But that's the backstory on this particular video here, according to Reddit, right? One of my Reddit threads that went through that I got tagged in sent me this video and was like, this is the backstory behind it. But apparently, so this guy gets arrested for forging a fake social security number to buy a Hellcat Charger. I don't know if he was buying a Hellcat, it could have been a Scat, but 9 times out of 10, if you're going to a Dodge dealership with a fake social security number or stolen social security number, let me stop saying that, a stolen social security number, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go for the top of the top. Like, nobody's risking their freedom for, a GT, a all-wheel drive Charger. 9 times out of 10, they going for the Cat. So it's safe to assume my man was going for the Cat here. Now, this is pretty common because there was another video on YouTube here, right? And it just so happened to be at a Dodge dealership. This is in Atlanta, Georgia at Landmark Atlanta dealership, right? Dodge dealership, Landmark Atlanta dealership. This video went viral, 3.5 million views. Check this out.
The officers detained the couple and proceeded to handcuff them for further investigation.
See, that's what they do. They detain you, they handcuff you, then they start asking you questions. If you start tripping out, they're taking you to the squad car. Dodge dealership, big old wide body Scat Pack, got the Jeep in the back, another Jeep up front. Nothing but Chargers and Challengers. I'm seeing Rams. Let's fast forward a little bit because this isn't. All right. Yeah.
Called in because we have an issue, Miss Manema.
So in this case, they were using fake IDs to purchase a vehicle.
Yeah. You have your ID on me. I don't. How you don't have your ID but you purchasing a vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an ID. You have your ID on you, sir. Don't stand up for me. For me? Both of y'all. On your purse. On your purse. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. I get it.
You got your ID on you, buddy?
I got a picture though.
Okay.
You ain't got no
I got a picture.
I know.
Put both in cuffs. Okay.
Put them both in cuffs. Like that's what they do. They detain you first, put you in cuffs. Yeah.
The ID that was presented does not come back to you,
Does not come back to you.
right? You knew that though. Did you not?
Nobody's saying anything, of course. So, I mean, I don't even have to show you the rest of that video there, but you can go to Crime Cam now to find out the rest of that. But I mean, come on, guys. Like, just do things the right way. Like, everything takes time. Like, in my case, like, I'll be transparent with you. In 2015, I bought my V6. Because at that time, that's literally all I could afford. I probably could have afforded an RT, but it really wasn't worth it. I just bought my first house. I didn't want that type of financial burden of a brand new RT because back then, that was back when Dodge had reasonable prices, right? And I think I bought my V6 for 33. I think I walked out at 33,000. I remember telling somebody I paid 33,000 for a Dodge, and they was like, "Damn, they took you to the cleaners. They got you. Y'all can't believe you paid 33,000 for a Dodge." And you know, fast forward almost 10 years, and 33 for any Dodge is a steal. But 33 for a V6, and that was pretty much all that I was comfortable with affording, right? That was 2015. Fast forward 5 years, 2020, when the first wide body Chargers came out. Boom, I went and got a wide body scat pack. The payments worked out. Everything was perfect, right? In my house, my scat pack, had my job. YouTube was paying nickels and dimes back then. I mean, for you guys that's been here for a while, you know, back then, I think I was less than 100,000 views, you know, making nickels and dimes at the time. But I mean, still supplemental income. It was paying for the gas, paying for the insurance, so I wasn't tripping. And then, you know, by the grace of God and just hard work and YouTube paying off and, you know, promotions at the job, so on and so forth, it worked out to where in 23, I can get a Hellcat. And I can design it however I want to. I can order it. I can get the black leather seats, the sunroof, the rim package, the audio package, the whole nine. Everything takes time. You know what I mean? Everything takes time. And it's no shame in that. It's no shame in working for things. It's no shame in saying, oh, I can't, you know, financially, I'm just not right there. I'm not there at this point. It's much better to do that, wait and do things the right way, stack your money and do things the right way, as opposed to doing things this way and having to be carried out by two men of a dealership because you were trying to, you know, use a stolen social security number, or because you went to a dealership and you don't have your IDs, or using fake IDs. Like, come on now. Like, that's not even a legitimate excuse that you went to a dealership buying an automobile. Like, buying a car is normally the second largest financial purchase or financial decision that most people make. The first one is buying a house, and then buying a car, and then probably, you know, loans and so on and so forth after that. But like, you don't go into a dealership buying a car. And in this day and age, it's safe to assume that whatever car you were going to buy is going to be 50, 60, 70, 80, $90,000. And you don't have your ID on you. Like, I don't go to my mailbox without my ID, just because it's like, I might get stopped by a cop on my way to the mailbox, and it's like, who are you? Let me see your ID. So it's one, like my dad always told me that, always take your ID with you. If I walk out the house and I've got everything except for my wallet, I'm turning right back around. Like, I think in North Carolina, I don't know if that's I don't think you can be arrested for not having an ID, but I know you probably get a ticket for not being able to identify yourself, you know? So it's one of those things, like every single time I leave the house, I walk out the door, I got my ID on me. So to go to a dealership buying a car and not having your ID is simply not an excuse. You knew what you were doing. And in the first video, using somebody else's social, you know what you're doing. You know, you're trying to get away with it, and it's simply not going to work. Your social is literally your human ID number. I know that sounds weird if you've ever read like 1984. What's that? Norwell's 1984. But every human being has like a human ID number, and your social is just that. First, last name, date of birth, addresses, all that stuff should be on your social. So for you to go in there and give them your ID and give them somebody else's social and think that you're going to walk out with a $98,000 Hellcat doesn't always pan out, and it didn't pan out in this case. Guys, I'm telling you, just take your time and do what works best for you. I tell you guys all the time, like right now, it's probably not the best time to buy a Scat or a Cat. RTs are coming down, V6s are coming down, so if you're in the market for a 5.7 or 3.6, probably now is the good time to go ahead and buy, because a lot of dealerships, especially in Charlotte, are coming down as much as $13,000. And if they're coming down 13, you can probably talk them down to 15, 16, right? Because they're motivated to get those cars off the lot. Right now, buying a Scat or a Cat, a lot of dealerships are still trying to hold true to the price. But in the next 2-3 months, they're not going to have a choice. Like, they're going to take whatever you offer them, because they've got 24s that's already on the lot, right? And then they've got 25s that's coming around the corner. So they got 2 years worth of cars that's moving 23s out of the lot. So they have no choice but to take whatever offer you're gonna present to them. So, you know, if you want a 23 Scat Pack or a Hellcat, I always tell you just to wait until it makes sense. Like, don't go out there buying a Cat and you don't have an apartment, or you don't have a house, or you don't have a place to stay. Like, a car will never be a house. And I'm saying all that to say, guys, just do things the right way. Even if it takes time, everything takes time. It took me almost 10 years to get from a V6 to a Hellcat. You know what I mean? And even when I got the Hellcat, it was one of those things, like, I sat down with the salesman and I was like, listen, I'm not paying anything more than this. You know, they looked at my credit score. Credit score was great, A1, but it's like, regardless, I'm not, you know, leveraging my financial future on a damn car. Like, I'm just not doing that. So it has to work. If it doesn't work, then I guess my channel is just going to be a Scat Pack channel forever, you know, until Hellcats drop about $20,000. Fortunately, it worked. Everything worked out. And, you know, I have a Hellcat, but it's one of those things, like, shit just takes time. But you have to go through steps in life. You got to do things the right way. I hate when I see young people out here trying to get, you know, kind of fast track the process. And here's the thing. Sometimes it works. Like, people wouldn't do these things if they didn't believe that it had worked for somebody else. Like, I know a lot of people in Charlotte right now that's driving around in 23s and 24s that, you know, I'm not even going to get into it, but let's just say sometimes it works for some people. Not all people, not every time, not all the time, but sometimes it works. But majority of the time it doesn't work, and you end up like this. You end up on a YouTube channel getting arrested, getting thrown in handcuffs, or in the case of the first guy, getting flipped upside down by two guys, getting dragged out of a Dodge dealership, man. But listen, at the end of the day, the message for this video, man, is just take your time doing what you do, all right? If all you are comfortable affording is a RT, get you a RT. Make that RT your baby. If all you are comfortable affording is a slim body Scat, get you a slim body, make it your baby. Stack your money. Work hard, do things the right way, cut, what do they say, measure twice, cut once, do things the right way the first time. That way you don't have to come back. You know, that way you don't make mistakes. And, you know, in the case of these two videos, that way you don't lose your freedom over trying to, you know, steal a car or forge a car. You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth it, guys. I really like my Cat, but I mean, I would never sacrifice my freedom for it. If it was one of those things like I just couldn't afford it, I would just have to sit in front of this camera and say, guys, I just couldn't afford it. So we're going to stay Scat Pack. It's going to be a 392 channel forever. You know what I'm saying? Or just the choice. Like, I choose a 392 over a Cat. Like, it just makes sense. So with all that being said, guys, just take your time. Take your time, do things the right way, save your money, stack your money, and then go get what you want. All right? That way there's no issues. It's always your mini boy Knockout. See you in the next one. Peace.